This is the Windone E2, and my first reaction was that mix of retro style and modern muscle. The chunky 20-inch fat tires and the long, cushy seat give it a little moped vibe, but it still looks and rides like a sporty e-bike. I was excited to try it, and I'll be honest, a bit intimidated by the size and the weight. It's around 92 pounds, which is heavier than most bikes I've owned. The good news is the assembly was simple. It arrived mostly built, and I only had to mount the front fender and wheel, set the handlebar, add the pedals, dial in the rear suspension, and bolt on the headlight. I used the included tools, flipped the bike to get the front wheel seated, inflated the tires, clicked the battery in, and gave it a full charge. I'd plan about an hour, especially if you like to double-check everything like I do. If you're smaller or have a bad back, having a friend around for the lift helps. Key features that stood out to me start with the 750W brushless rear hub motor. It's tucked into the back wheel, and the power delivery is smooth rather than punchy. The bike can reach about 28 MPH using pedal assist, which means you're pedaling, and the motor is adding power on top. If I just use the throttle to cruise, I top out at around 20 MPH. That split makes sense for daily rides. Pedal assist when I want to move fast and get a bit of exercise. Throttle only when I need a break or want to roll without effort. There's also pedal-only mode if I want the simplest manual ride, and cruise control if I want to hold a steady pace. For anyone new to e-bikes, pedal assist uses sensors to detect your pedaling and helps you, like someone giving you a gentle push. Throttle only is like a small scooter where you twist the grip, and the motor handles the work. Cruise control lets you maintain a set speed without holding the throttle. From my experience on pavement, patched roads, and some light gravel, the 20x4-inch tires and the full suspension make a bigger difference than I expected. The front fork and the rear shock soak up potholes and small bumps, and the fat tires add a cushion that keeps the bike planted instead of jittery. The seat is a highlight. It's soft, about 23 inches long, and wide enough that I didn't get sore even after longer rides. The riding position sits upright, which is great for seeing traffic and staying comfortable. I'm average height, and the fit felt dialed in. If you're very tall, you might want to look closely at the geometry, because it could feel a little short. Shorter riders may appreciate the lower stance and the easy starts and stops. The drivetrain is straightforward with a trigger shifter and 7 speeds. If you're brand new to gears, think of them like levels of effort. Lower gears make pedaling easier on hills. Higher gears let you go faster on flats without spinning your legs too quickly. Shifts were quick and didn't need much tuning out of the box. Battery performance has been solid. It's a 48V 13Ah pack, which works out to about 624 watt-hours. In my rides, that translated to roughly 46 miles when I mixed pedaling with assist and kept speeds moderate. When I leaned on the throttle and didn't pedal much, I saw closer to 28 miles on a charge. Your numbers will change with rider weight, hills, wind, temperature, and how fast you like to go, but those ranges felt realistic. I like that the battery pops out easily and clicks back in with a clean lockup. I often brought it inside to charge while leaving the bike in the garage. It's IPX5 rated, which means rain splashes aren't a problem. I still try to avoid heavy storms and wipe it down after wet rides. Charging time will vary based on the charger you use and how drained the pack is, but I usually topped it off overnight and never had range anxiety for my daily errands. The LCD display is basic in a good way. Hold the power button to turn everything on, and you get speed, battery bars, and trip info at a glance. The plus and minus buttons change the assist level, with higher numbers giving you more help and faster speeds for the same pedaling effort. I didn't have any trouble reading it during daytime rides, and the layout is intuitive. The cockpit feels clean with the trigger shifter on the right and the assist controls on the left. It didn't take me long to build muscle memory for switching modes mid-ride. Braking is where the Windone E2 punches above its class. The hydraulic disc brakes are strong and predictable. I rode through light rain, and the lever feel stayed consistent without the squishiness I've felt on some mechanical setups. The taillight arrangement is another plus. The headlight is bright enough to see and be seen, and the rear light gets brighter when I'm braking, which gave me extra confidence around cars. I did read that some folks reported headlight quirks, but mine has been reliable. Build quality feels stout. The high-carbon steel frame is robust and helps the bike feel stable at speed and on rougher patches. The trade-off is weight, and that's the main downside in my day-to-day use. Carrying it upstairs is not fun, so if you live above the ground floor, plan for storage where you can roll it in and out. The kickstand is sturdy enough for the weight, the wheels stayed true after bumps, and the cables are routed neatly. The included toolkit is genuinely useful. I used it to fine-tune the handlebar angle and tighten a few bolts after the first couple rides. I also appreciated that the fat tires shrugged off gravel without picking up a flat. I kept tire pressure on the lower side for comfort, then bumped it up for longer road rides to get a bit more range. The motor has a quiet hum under load, nothing obnoxious, and the acceleration is smooth rather than snappy. That made the bike feel composed when pulling away from lights. I liked that I could set the assist to a low level for a mellow ride, or crank it up to sail up moderate hills without breaking a sweat. If you're a heavier rider or often carry a backpack, in my opinion, you'll still climb easily, but expect the battery to drain a bit faster, especially if you spend time at higher speeds. There are trade-offs. The weight is real, and I wouldn't call it a bike you toss onto a wall rack after work. Assembly wasn't hard, but it did take attention to detail, and I'm glad I took my time. On pure throttle, the 20 MPH cap is fine for cruising, though part of me wished for a touch more speed there. Also, if you're over 6 feet tall, consider that the upright geometry might feel compact. None of these were deal breakers for me. They're just things I'd want someone to tell me before buying. It's perfect for riders who want one bike to handle weekday commutes and weekend paths without feeling limited to smooth pavement. I used it for grocery runs, short office trips, and relaxed evening rides on neighborhood trails. The stability, the comfortable seat, and the full suspension made me reach for it even when I could have taken a car. It's also great for newer riders because the controls are simple and the bike feels planted, which builds confidence fast. I'd recommend this for anyone who likes the look of a Minimoto but wants the practicality of an e-bike, commuters who deal with rough streets, and riders who value comfort as much as speed. If you're storage limited or need to carry a bike upstairs daily, I'd think hard about the weight. If you have a garage, a ground floor entry, or a spot you can roll into, the heft becomes an advantage when riding because it settles the bike on uneven terrain. From my experience, the combination of the 750W motor, hydraulic brakes, full suspension, and fat tires made every ride easygoing and fun. The removable battery and simple display kept the daily routine smooth. I didn't have to fuss with constant adjustments, and I never felt like I was fighting the bike to do what I wanted. The look grew on me too. The retro lines are just cool, and the build doesn't feel cheap. In my opinion, the Windone E2 nails that balance of comfort, power, and ease of use. It gives you real speed when you pedal, chill throttle cruising when you want to relax, and enough range to cover most daily miles without stress. If you can manage the weight where you store it, it's a strong choice. In conclusion, riding the Windone E2 is simply enjoyable. It brings the extra boost that makes hills and headwinds no big deal, while keeping the ride straightforward for newcomers and satisfying for experienced cyclists. The suspension, the fat tires, and the brakes deliver confidence. The battery system and controls make ownership painless. I'm happy with the durability so far and the way it looks parked or rolling. Please check the comments section for detailed information about the Windone E2. Thank you for watching.